America, we are back, baby. Welcome to another episode of America Unfiltered. We got a great show for you tonight, everyone. A lot of different things to talk about. I hope everyone enjoyed their weekend. We're back. It's Monday. I know some people hate Mondays, but I enjoy being back to the show. I enjoy doing it. Everyone as well, please remember to like and smash the follow button. Smash the subscribe button. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think of the show. We'll be responding to comments at the end of the show today. I've been doing that recently. People seem to enjoy it, and I enjoy interacting with the viewers as well. And please, if you're listening on Spotify, remember to rate the show 5 stars as well. Very important for the algorithm, apparently. But we're going to get into our topics today. I want to talk a little bit about something we were talking about last week. There was a huge double standard happening in the media where a man threatened a few different Jewish people within the media. Laura Loomer, Josh Hammer, Seth Dillon. And they only followed about 5 accounts. And those 5 accounts were including people like Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens. And every one of those media representatives who was threatened was saying that they were radicalized by those people. And then just a couple days later, a Jewish sniper under the name Aaron Levitsky sent DMs to a woman while she was sleeping saying he was going to kill her, bury her body, piss on her grave. Terrible, terrible things. Direct threats to this person's life. And she could not get a single media outlet to report on it. Not a single major media outlet. She couldn't even get in contact with the FBI, Department of Homeland Security, or anybody. They were all ignoring her viral posts until it got to the point that she got so viral that she got thousands of people to start calling on her behalf. Thousands of Americans, thousands of young patriots that I'm proud of, called the FBI, emailed them, went on their tip line, and said, this person is a danger to society. Aaron Levitsky is a Jewish sniper who is threatening the life of someone in the media because they disagree with their takes on Israel. But that was completely overlooked by a massive part of the media. It was completely overlooked by all the same people who just a few days earlier were saying that this is a huge problem we're going to be dealing with. The radicalized individuals who listen to somebody and then they want to go kill someone else. So right now, there's this massive double standard where if you are a non-Jew and you threaten a Jew, you will be prosecuted to the fullest extent. They will extradite you to Florida, and they will do everything they can to make sure that you do not see the light of day. But if you are a Jewish American or a Jewish individual at all, and you threaten someone who is not Jewish, the FBI seems to give a lot less of a shit. So we're going to talk about that today. We'll talk about the escalation of it. Like I said, thousands of people got involved, and it finally got the FBI's attention. And we don't have a ton of details, but what I will share and what I will show you guys in a bit is that the FBI is now investigating this, and hopefully we can get some answers. But we all know Kash Patel does have a tendency to fuck everything up, and I can't say this for certain because the dumb bitch is suing everybody, but he's allegedly, can't sue me when I say allegedly dating a Mossad honeypot. So we'll talk about this. We'll talk about all that. I also want to talk about something Bannon said and something I've been even thinking about. It was weird because I've been speaking about this over the last few days privately in conversations and debates with people. I constantly have them. And then Steve Bannon out of nowhere today said, why don't we do a 3-state solution, not a 2-state solution? Based. Come on. That's what I've been saying too. We're going to talk about the potential of a 3-state solution. Not that that seems likely right now, but we'll talk about the idea of it and why I think it is the better option than a 2-state solution. I want to talk about the EBT freakout. We've all seen the, if you guys spend any time on Reels, on TikTok, on any major social media platform, you have seen a certain portion of the population, or a certain group in the population, may I say, who is now freaking out over this. Freaking out that they're losing their EBT because of the government shutdown come November 1st. And not only are they freaking out about it, they're not just going to the stores in hordes now and, spending what they have. What they are doing is they're threatening to steal come November 1. So I do want to urge anybody, come November 1st, if you're in a major city, and man, I hate to say this to you. This is the only time I'm ever going to give this message to you guys, you young men out there, especially this is really a message to the ones in relationships and marriages. Normally, I'd say go send your girlfriend or wife out to do the grocery shopping, but I wouldn't come November 1st, at least for a short period of time until all that is settled or we figure out what it's actually going to look like, especially if you're in a major city, because it does look like there will be mass lootings. There will be utter chaos, pure utter chaos. So we're going to talk about that today. I do want to show some Candace clips as well. Candace is back. Candace took a short little break from the media. She went on a trip, it looks like. And she was back with some interesting information. Nothing crazy new, because Ian Carroll did a video over the weekend where he or a live stream, where he kind of explained some of the things that Candace re-explained today. She did release some new information. Nothing crazy breaking beyond what Ian Carroll had already put out there. So we'll talk about that. I want to talk about Amazon cutting jobs. We've already touched on that in the past, but it's actually happening, starting tomorrow. Thousands of jobs are going to be cut from Amazon and Paramount. They will be replaced with AIs. These fucking clankers, they're taking our jobs. It's like that South Park scene. They took our job. They're literally taking our fucking jobs. They're replacing us with fucking clankers. And before we get into the show, I want to talk about something that I saw a video with someone talking about it, and it's a really good idea, and I think we should all start doing this, because I'm in the same boat with you guys. We're all in the same boat. I am part of the disaffected young white men in this country who feel like they got absolutely fucked and left behind by our government. If you're out there, if you're applying to jobs, if you don't seem to get any callbacks, you don't seem to be able to find a job, or at least a decent one, every place you go in is using migrant labor, and they've refused to hire Americans. And this could temporarily, short-term, hurt the economy of our local communities, but in the end, it will be overall beneficial in the long term. But my advice to everyone, and this is something I didn't create, I saw someone talk about this, but I feel it's necessary to bring it up to you guys. I think we should all start calling ICE on the local establishments in our towns. Any local, whether it's a restaurant, landscaping, blue collar, white collar, I don't care what it is. Any business that is hiring illegal immigrants currently, we have a duty to call ICE and let those people get deported. We have to be very hyper specific, say there are illegals working at this place, at this location. They are open during these times of the day. And then let ICE do the work when it comes to the deportations. And then after the deportations happen, or after those people at least get arrested and moved to a migrant facility, then we start applying again to these jobs. If they're not just going to hire us because we're too expensive and they want to hire cheap migrant labor, what we can do is we can fight against that through the laws. And the laws allow us to legally call ICE, report crimes as hiring illegal immigration is a crime, and we can get those jobs for ourselves over time, which will restabilize the economy back in our towns when we do inevitably reclaim those jobs. In the short term, it might hurt the business owners, but at the same time, I don't really feel that bad, because any business owner right now who is hiring illegal immigrants over hiring American-born citizens does not have my respect. I don't think they have true America First beliefs. I don't think they actually care about America, and when they say, illegal immigration stimulates the economy. Okay, but for who? For the billionaires, for the government, for the business owners who abuse their labor. It doesn't help Gen Z. It doesn't help millennials. It doesn't help Gen Alpha, the generations that have been fucked and left behind by our government. So we're going to talk about all these things today. Should be a fun show. Again, please remember to like and smash the follow button. Smash the subscribe button. Leave 5 stars on Spotify and leave a comment. We will be reading all the comments at the end of the show today. I hope you guys enjoy the show. We're going to get right into it. I do want to bring you guys over to our big screen over here. This is the update on the Jewish sniper. She goes, update on the Israeli-American Jew, Aaron Levitsky, who threatened to kill me. This is being taken extremely seriously. I'll provide a more detailed update as soon as more information becomes available. Thank you to everybody who reported him. And this was her previous post from yesterday. It has been 4 days since I received death threats on X from Israeli-American sniper Aaron Levitsky. I have not heard back from any government officials, despite the public outcry for accountability. X has still refused to acknowledge it. That's another big part. X refused to acknowledge it. And when she says X, it's not just the company she's referring to. She is referring to how the company of X didn't, take his account down, didn't delete his account, didn't put any restrictions on it the same way they did in other cases when someone was threatening Josh Hammer, Laura Loomer, Seth Dillon. But it's not just them, it's also the major media figures on X. You know, those same people who were threatened by the non-Jewish person who wanted to act violently towards the Jewish people in the media were very silent. They went they completely ghosted us when it came to acknowledging this. And it's really crazy because immediately upon that happening, I came on my show and I denounced the violence. I said that that was not okay, that we cannot have violence, and I constantly say it on my show. We cannot have people acting violently. Nick Fuentes gave a very similar message. I even did a reaction stream to his message because of how powerful it was, denouncing the violence. But it didn't seem to matter to them. They just went radio silent. We can say no violence should happen, but they seem to not care when it's the other way around. You know, when it's people who are questioning the Israel lobby, when it's people who are calling out negative behaviors by Israel and Jewish figures in the media who seem to have a affinity for Israel over America, they don't seem to give a shit. So there's a massive double standard where, like I said in the beginning, if you're a non-Jew doing that, you will be extradited to Florida. You will have the worst possible punishment, which, again, I don't disagree with that. I think people should not act violently, and if people do, they should be punished for it. I don't have a problem with that. Where the problem is when the other side does it, and it's only us still calling it out. Why is it that we can call it out then, but you guys can't? Is it because maybe they wouldn't care if she got shot? Would they even acknowledge it if this woman did die? If this woman was killed by this Jewish American sniper, Aaron Levitsky, who is threatening her life, would Laura Loomer give a shit? Would Josh Hammer? Would Seth Dillon give a shit? Or would he write a funny Babylon Bee article about it? It's some interesting questions. I really don't think they would. I don't think they would care at all. But again, I urge everybody, even though the FBI is taking this seriously already, keep reaching out. The tip line is right on her post here. You guys can all find her Twitter profile just by looking at this. It's Morgan Ariel. And then the phone number right here for the FBI hotline. Again, be respectful, be kind, be truthful. 312-421-6700 is the phone number. But yeah, we need to keep reporting that. I've personally put in a tip as well. I think it's important that we stand against violence no matter who is targeted in the violence. I don't want any Jewish Americans to die. No Jewish figures in the media that I disagree with. Like, I disagree with Mark Levin, Ben Shapiro, Josh Hammer. I do not want them dead. I don't want them hurt. I don't want a finger put on them. I want their credibility to continue to be diminished over time. I want us to keep debunking things they say. I want to engage in healthy debates, and I want to engage in politics and engage in media attacks, not physical attacks. So that's where I stand on it, and I just find it pretty funny that, not even funny, I find it pretty disgusting actually, that they refuse to take the other side. They refuse to stand with anybody who stands against Israel, even when violence is threatened. So that's something that I thought was interesting because they wouldn't give a shit if we died. They would probably laugh about it. They see these tweets. I mean, these tweets are everywhere. These tweets have been going absolutely viral, and it has just been completely ignored by the media. I do want to go on with our show. That was the first update we had on that. I do want to talk about the potential of a three-state solution. So Steve Bannon calls for a three-state solution and the creation of a Christian state of Jerusalem in the Holy Land. I think this would be a tremendous idea. I think that not only should the United States create laws that make it so Americans have to have an allegiance to America instead of Israel. Right now, we have people within the country who have a stronger tie to Israel than they do in America, yet they carry an American passport. Very odd to me. I think those people should be deported. I think anybody who's not putting America first as an American citizen has zero right to anything in America. Honestly, you should not be able to be an American citizen if you don't put America first in every way. That shouldn't even be a controversial statement, but for some reason, it is. The ADL even wrote an entire hit piece about, if you say America first, you're anti-Semitic. It's anti-Semitic to want my native country to come first? That's anti-Semitic now? you guys lose all your credibility with every article you write when you put Turning Point USA in the hate category. When you say it's anti-Semitic to say America first, do you guys realize you destroy your own credibility and you make people trust you less? Yeah, I think this would be a great idea. It would give Christians a spot in the land that is holy to us. And I think it should even go further than that. I think there should even be another part that's carved out as a neutral territory. So I think you give Gaza to the Palestinians, you give either Bethlehem or Jerusalem to Christians, and then you make one of them a neutral territory as well. And then, the Jewish people over there, the Israelis, can control the rest. And I think over time, or I think in the short term, it would actually cause a lot of conflict. Maybe it won't be physical conflict, although there could be. I think over time, though, it would cause a lot more peace in the region. But in the short term, when this has been proposed, because this isn't the first time this has ever been talked about. This has been talked about a few different times. But every time something like this is proposed, the only opposition, the only people who disagree with it, is 1 out of the 3. And I don't know why when we have a majority, 2 out of the 3 groups want this to happen. I don't know why we listen to the one group. Maybe it's because they control America and the media and a lot of our politicians, and they have too much influence. That's just one thought to it. But right now, Christians and Muslims would both agree to that in an instant. I mean, if you said to Muslims, we're going to declare Palestine a state, they would celebrate. I mean, it would be the happiest day in Palestine's existence. If you said to Christians, we are going to carve out a piece of the Holy Land for you guys, that would be one of the biggest breakthroughs in modern day Christianity. But for some reason, Israel and the citizens of Israel seem to stand against that. They seem to not like the idea. They think it's unfair to them. It's kind of shows, they don't actually respect our religion, they don't respect our views, and they don't actually want peace in the area, because what Israel has done settling in that area has completely destabilized the region. Israel became a state in, I think, 1947, and there has been a lot of conflicts with the Israelites, or that's what they call themselves, since about 1914 or so, but around World War I time. But before that, it was a fairly stable region. There wasn't as much conflict not nearly as much conflict as we're seeing in today's modern age or throughout the 1900s. So I really think over time, it would bring a lot of peace to the area. It would respect all 3 religions, which is important as well. I think if Christians are able to carve out a piece of the Holy Land, it would be the biggest breakthrough for modern day Christianity. And if the Jewish people in Israel, if Bibi Netanyahu wants to keep saying this Judeo-Christian relationship, but not actually do anything about it, it's all just talk and propaganda and Isbara bullshit. It doesn't actually mean anything without action. He says that Christians are very respected in Israel, yet they get spit on when they go on missionary trips there. And if you don't believe me, I've showed clips on the show of it. You could very well Google Israelis spitting on Christians, and there are thousands of videos of it because it happens all the time. Even Brandon Tatum on his show, fucking insane, one of the most insane things ever. But he was like, yeah, on our trip to Israel, we only had one incident where a little Jewish boy spit on us, or spit on a pastor that was with us. And it's just like, oh, if a little Jewish boy spit on me, if a little Jewish boy spit on me, I give him I would fuck that kid up. I would fuck that kid up in an instant. I mean, it doesn't even, if a little Muslim boy spit on me too, just boom, boom, just fucking knock him one way, knock him right back, knock him on the ground, stomp him in the neck, oblique kick him in the knee, uppercut, send him flying. No, I'm kidding. We shouldn't talk about fucking kids up like that. We shouldn't talk about fighting children, but I dare a little kid to try and spit on me. See what fucking happens. Don't spit on me if I'm on a missionary trip. That's not gonna end well for you. I'll tell you that now. But yeah, they weaponize our religion against us a lot. To get back into what we were saying, they constantly quote the Genesis verse of, the people who bless Israel will be blessed, and that itself is just complete disrespect to the modern day Christian beliefs, because we believe that while Jews were once the chosen people of God, when Jesus came down and died on the cross for our sins, it fulfilled the prophecy of the Old Testament, and the New Testament supersedes it. It's not a sequel, it supersedes the Old Testament. So when they quote that to you, they are just completely disrespecting everything you believe. And they do that because they don't actually give a shit about the relationship of Christians and Jews. What they give a shit about is lobbying. What they give a shit about is regional power. They want to have the Greater Israel project come through. They want to own the entire area. They don't want to declare Palestine a state. They want to own it. They want to settle there and rebuild there. They want to bulldoze the entire... They already did through bombs. It's weird to say they want to bulldoze the entire thing because, yeah, they literally blew up, I think, 83% of all the buildings in Gaza, according to a recent study. And it's still going on. Even just this morning, more airstrikes were done from Israel to the Gaza Strip. The ceasefire has now been broken over 83 times by Israel. And almost every time they've tried to claim it was Hamas, and it has been immediately debunked. But nothing has been done about it. We have not held them accountable one time. We didn't hold them accountable when 2 Israeli soldiers accidentally killed themselves by driving over a bomb, and then they blamed it on Hamas, saying they fired an RPG from a tunnel that was controlled in an Israeli-controlled territory. Those RPG guys in the tunnel would have had to be there for 9 months with no food and water to shoot that rocket, because Israel controlled that area for 9 months or so. So I don't know. I find the entire thing utterly fucking ridiculous that we're still supporting this borderline terrorist state. I mean, I hate to even say borderline because they basically just act like a full-blown terrorist state. Like, what is a terrorist state? A terrorist state is, a place that kills women and children, that has a weird, relaxed view on rape, I would say, and child sex practices. It is somewhere that has little regard for other religions and they really only care about their own. It is someone that has no problem killing people if it helps them. So we could go into all those things like the Hannibal Directive, which is a old Israeli, it's something they use within their military so that if an Israeli soldier is captured, they are supposed to use lethal force even if it means killing their fellow Israeli soldiers. So that way they cannot have leverage over them. So they would kill their own just to prevent leverage through a hostage situation. It is one of those things. There is also a very relaxed view on rape in the area. As we know, if you Google 61% of Israeli men, a Guardian study will come up that shows that 61% of Israeli men do not view rape as long as they know the person, as long as they're somewhat acquainted with the person. And sure, it was a smaller sample size, but it still goes to show that there is a general attitude of being pretty relaxed towards the idea of rape in the entire Middle East. We all know there's a lot of Middle Eastern countries where the age of consent is about 9 or 10, between 9 and 12, that they sell these young girls off. And not all that necessarily happens in Israel. But what Israel did do when it comes to children is they financed the pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. We know this because of the leaked emails through Ehud Barak, his ties with Ghislaine Maxwell, Robert Maxwell, all the ties to Mossad and the Israeli government he has, and the fact that the Epstein files don't seem to exist. Yet everybody was talking about them. And then when they finally stopped, it was Howard Lutnick standing behind Donald Trump. Howard Lutnick, Jeffrey Epstein's old neighbor, and a very close friend with Israel, who's standing behind Donald Trump during every single press conference. It's a little weird. It's almost like Howard Lutnick was Donald Trump's handler, right? Very, very weird how the media doesn't question that. It's really weird, right? We heard for so long on Fox News that the Epstein files were, the biggest deal ever, and now they're just a hoax. Now they're just a Democratic hoax, and Donald Trump was actually just an informant in the case the whole time, but the only person he was informing on was Jeffrey Epstein. There was no co-conspirators, according to Pam Bondi. Jeffrey Epstein was just raping hundreds of girls and getting unlimited hand jobs. He's the king of hand jobs, apparently. Sir King Jeffrey Epstein, let me call him by his formal name, because apparently he's pretty fucking innocent. According to our legal system, Jeffrey Epstein was fairly innocent. He didn't really do much, Queen Ghislaine Maxwell, King Jeffrey Epstein. We shouldn't be disrespecting these people, Apparently they did nothing wrong according to our government. Or at the very least, what they did was nothing worse than what, P. Diddy was doing. And apparently, according to them, P. Diddy wasn't even doing anything that terrible either. P. Diddy walked away with 2 prostitution charges, which is a little odd when you know that in 2007, when Jeffrey Epstein was arrested for trafficking and raping over 37 minors, the DA cut a deal with him, and that deal was 2 prostitution charges, is what he pled guilty to. So it's a little weird that they seem to fall back onto the same exact charge when they are both engaged in sex trafficking, or allegedly engaged in sex trafficking, I must say, because our government refuses to prove it. They refuse to hold anyone accountable if they are tied to the Israeli lobby. And again, there's a pattern of this. The pattern also exists when we go back to this post, where it's like someone connected to Israel in some way is threatening an American. It's not taken seriously at all. But when somebody who is not connected and is threatening someone connected to the Israeli lobby, it is taken very seriously, and that person is extradited to Florida for the fullest extent possible. They're probably never going to see the light of day again. Or if they do, yeah, I doubt they ever will. I'm not even going to speculate on that because I don't think they'll ever get out of prison. I don't think they'll make it out. I think our government has too strong of an alliance with Israel, and that's not a crazy statement because I say stuff like that all the time. But if we can't break free from it, if we can't get some peace in the region, we need to do something to force it. We need to force Israel's hand in some way, because right now Israel is running the fucking show, and our government is allowing it to happen because they're all paid to do so. Over 90% of all the politicians are paid through AIPAC and like lobbyists to put Israel's interests over America. They rarely put America's interests first. Marjorie Taylor Greene even did a thing on this with Tucker Carlson, where she said she's had to vote against 22 pro-Israel amendments, and she hasn't got to pass any pro-America amendments because they keep putting up pro-Israel amendments, pro-Israel bills, where they'll send them money, they'll send them weapons. We've sent this country over $315 billion, on average $3.8 billion a year, and a lot more in recent years because of the wars they've been in. And one crazy thing I've noticed too, and we'll talk about this a lot tomorrow because there will be a lot more developments. Tomorrow I want to talk about Venezuela, and I want to talk about what's going on with Israel. But Israel, now that they are not on the offensive in Gaza anymore, now that they are not destroying every building in Gaza, killing civilians, killing journalists, women, and children, they are now moving on to Lebanon. So I'm going to break that down tomorrow. We'll talk about Lebanon and Israel. We'll talk about America and Venezuela. We'll do a whole war show tomorrow. I don't do those crazy often, but we'll do that tomorrow. We'll do a nice deep breakdown. But it's just crazy to me that Israel seems so fucking war hungry. They refuse to stop. You'd think after, 3 years of fighting against Hamas, they would want a little bit of a break. But no, the peace deal gets put into place. They break the ceasefire over 80 times. And then along with that, they immediately go on the offensive in Lebanon. They immediately start bombing Lebanon, start targeting agents of Hezbollah, the people they attacked with the pagers, that I have warned people that that same thing could happen to us. We know what they did with the pager attack, and we all saw the 60-minute clip of the Mossad agent saying that the world is our stage. We create the realities that you live in. We were able to set up companies that no one was able to ever tie to Israel, and no one would ever will be. And we were able to sell them to them years ago and then detonate them when we wanted to. Do you not think that, maybe in that lamp I have over there, or even my camera I'm filming with right now, or this microphone, or our phones, or our watches, or some electronics that we all have in our house or on our daily persons, do you guys not worry like I do that one day they're just going to explode when they see fit? We know the Samson option's real. We know that if Israel feels threatened enough, they will just nuke the entire world, or they'll nuke all their adversaries. They'll nuke anyone who they feel like is standing against them or refusing their right to survive, as they say. And saying a 2-state or a 3-state solution to them is somehow questioning their right to survive. We're not saying you guys got to die. What we're saying is, if you want peace in the region, if you actually claim to want peace, let's not do it through pushing regime changes. Let's do it by building a 3-state solution that will work for all 3 religions. Because what it boils down to in that area, and why there's so much conflict, is religion. It is a religious war what's happening over there. There are Muslims and Jews fighting. There are Christians fighting. And what we need is peace. And the way to that is a three-state solution. So I'm going to be pushing for the three-state solution. I'm actually going to be writing a chapter about it in my book that I am working on now. One thing that sucks about writing a book is I don't have anyone to help me fund it. So I'm working on that. I gotta get some more money. I gotta get monetized, or I'm monetized, but I gotta get the monetization up. I gotta get the rates up. I gotta get more viewers, because it's fucking expensive to put a book out there. I've not that I was ignorant to that going into it, but now that I'm getting closer to finishing it, I should be done by the start of next year. Within a month or two into next year, I'm now realizing, when I finish this, how am I gonna get it out there? Should I release it online? What do I do? So I'm working on that. We'll figure that out. If you guys want to donate, feel free to hit the super chat link. I will put all the money towards the book forwarding, towards the publishing. You don't have to, though. Just to quit. If Candace is gonna grift, why can't I? No, I'm kidding. I shouldn't be grifting, but if you guys want to read it inevitably, you got to help me out a bit. I'm just fucking around now, but I think the three-state solution is the best idea that's ever been proposed, because I really do think Christians deserve a place in the Holy Land, especially if we are going to ride on the claim that Israel respects Christianity. I don't think they actually do. I think it's all Hasbara bullshit. But if they are going to die on that hill that they do respect our religion, okay, then show it. Because you realize that that's the Holy Land to us, but you also realize that we get spit on when we go there. You also realize that people get killed in Israel. Americans get killed in Israel, and it's not crazy uncommon. 4 Americans died recently at the hands of the IDF. We've had multiple American Palestinians get killed by the IDF. And they always say it's an accident. They always pull out the old USS Liberty handbook with no, it's an accident. We didn't know that. Oy vey, we did not know that. But it's why you always lying? I love that old video. It's why the fuck you lying? They're always lying. They're always gonna lie about that. They know they purposefully attacked the USS Liberty. Unless the pilot was blind. How did they not know? It was flying a big-ass American flag. And if you guys haven't seen the size of these American flags that fly on ships, it's not like your porch American flag. It's fucking huge. It's like your interstate highway flying over and you're like, oh shit, look at that. Let me take a picture. It's like that. They're fucking massive. These things, it's like the size of an NFL field. These things are crazy. It's like when they bring out the flag for the national anthem in the NFL. That's the flags they're flying on these boats. Just massive, massive flags. And beyond that, they were broadcasting that they were an American ship and they had American hull numbers on the side. Everything about it showed that it was an American ship. But no, they still denied it the same way they denied that any of those Americans ever got killed by the IDF. And the 4 most recent ones who got killed, it never even got reported in the media. You wouldn't know it happened if you didn't hear it on a show like this, where Nick Fuentes didn't talk about it, Myron Gaines. But it's very important we keep calling this out, because it has become so apparent that the media is not trustworthy. The media doesn't have your best interests in mind. They don't have mine. They don't have America's even. What they do have is lobbying money. And that lobbying money comes from the Israel lobby a lot of the times. And I'm not saying no other countries pay them, but it is clear when you watch Fox News, when you watch CNN, when you watch MSNBC, when you watch CBS, that they are occupied. It is clear that they have an agenda, a narrative that they want to push towards you. And that agenda and narrative is that Israel has always been a massive ally to the United States, and saying they're not is anti-Semitic. Saying that Israel isn't a good ally is just Jew hatred, anti-Semitism, low IQ bullshit. And the only concession I'll give them is there is a lot of low IQ anti-Semitism in the world. There are a lot of people who just look at anything terrible that happens and say it's the Jews. I don't think that's smart. I actually think that is a sign of lack of intelligence. But when you can bring out definitive evidence, when you can create a pattern and show that over time the Israel lobby has continuously fucked over America, that there are Jews in the media who hold an affinity to Israel over America, and that they weaponize our own religion against us, that they have dragged us through multiple regime change wars. They refused to sign the same nuclear treaty that were signed on with Russia and China. The only other countries would be Israel, India, India, Israel, Pakistan, and North Korea. Not great company to be in with. And they are constantly holding spy operations around the country. It's estimated that there's multiple Mossad agents working within our own government and media. And beyond that, they also financed the pedophile who raped kids. So they were okay with kids getting raped as long as it got them what they wanted, which was political blackmail. And we all know that this is an old mafia tactic. This is something that the Jewish mafia started and the Italian mafia joined in on. They would get politicians into extreme sexual scenarios where they would then get photos of them, whether it was cheating or it was having sex with a minor. And they would use that as political blackmail to extort them, to get laws passed, to get exactly what they wanted. So I do not support the modern day state of Israel and their actions. I don't support America having any relationship with them. And I think that until a 3-state solution is accepted, there should not even be any discussions with the country for the most part. I don't think it benefits the United States because one of the biggest arguments they like to make is that Israeli intelligence is so necessary for the United States to succeed that if we didn't have it, we would have no eyes and ears in the Middle East. Well, a couple things. One, what the fuck is the CIA for then? If that's what they're for, is to be the eyes and ears everywhere around the world. That's literally the entire point of having this super secret spy operation. And at the same time, it's like they work against us consistently. They do not show any good faith to us. Even just last week, while J.D. Vance and Donald Trump are there, the Knesset holds a vote to say we are going to annex the Gaza Strip. The vote failed, but they held a vote to see if they could. And then when they were asked about it, Bibi Netanyahu's response is Israel is an independent nation. Isn't that odd? Isn't that very, very odd that an independent nation, they claim? What independent nation takes billions of dollars? What independent nation needs to lobby another country to survive? Because without us, they could never survive. They would just get their shit pushed in. Very interesting stuff. I think the 3-state solution is realistically the only path forward that can have peace in the Middle East without United States having to constantly intervene and push regime change wars on behalf of Israel, because I don't think the way to peace is overthrowing every single other country and destabilizing every other country in the region. No, I think that actually does more harm than good. I think the reason a lot of these Middle Eastern countries hate us is 2 reasons. One, because Osama bin Laden even claimed they hated our relationship to Israel. They hated that we supported Israel no matter what they did. And then as well, we have sent soldiers into these countries and massively disrupted their lives. We have killed their kids. We have killed their parents, innocent civilians sometimes. So why would they like us? Why would Iraq like us? Why would Syria like us? Why would any of these countries like America if we are constantly doing things to provoke them on another country's behalf? Because it didn't benefit America to go into the Middle East at all. It did benefit Israel, though. And you want to know where we got that information from that led us to go in there? Bibi Netanyahu in 2002 came and testified in front of the Congress and Senate and said that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction and we needed to destroy him. We needed to overthrow the regime. This message went through Wolfowitz and it got to Dick Cheney. And then the war lobby, the neocons, as we know today, they pushed this war forward. They knew that there was no weapons of mass destruction. They knew it was all a bunch of bullshit. But they lied and sold it to the American people because Americans saw 3,000 Americans get killed. They saw planes fly into a building, and they saw people, their loved ones, jumping from the 80th floor of those buildings because it was better than staying in the fire. Americans were sad, they were mad, they were pissed, and they wanted blood. And rightfully so in a lot of ways, I grew up in that area. I knew a lot of kids, and I still know them to this day, whose parents passed away in 9/11. Very, very terrible. So I understand the feeling. And they used that. They used that against us. They used our anger. They used our sadness. And they used it against the generations who, for lack of better terms, are a lot dumber than us. Gen X and boomers are again, for lack of better terms, kind of retarded sometimes. Not all of them. Not all of them if you're one of my Gen X or Boomer listeners. Maybe you're not that dumb if you're listening to this show, but just know that a lot of your generation accepted the propaganda without questioning it, without doing their own research. And it was a different time. We didn't have the social media channels we have today. We didn't have TikTok. We didn't have Instagram. Facebook wasn't around yet. So there really wasn't a lot of social media channels to discuss these things. But nowadays we have those, and we're able to mass communicate across the entire world within moments. You know, if you're a popular creator, you're able to speak to millions of people in an instant. If you have 10 million followers and you send out a tweet, that has real power to it. If you are even just a local TikToker, if you're a small creator, you have a chance of almost any video you have hitting the algorithm in the correct way and getting millions of views. Excuse me. So we have this new form of communication, which has really put the clamps on Israel. Israel is now facing a ton of backlash worldwide, and it's because of the criticism they're getting, and rightfully so. We are able to see the war crimes in real time on social media, on X, on TikTok. We are able to discuss them. We are able to analyze them and break them down. We're able to watch live streams of the House, of the Senate. We're able to watch live streams of every press conference that people in previous generations would just read about in the papers. And those papers were all bought and sold, and they were run by certain lobbies. And it wasn't always the Israel lobby, but some of the bigger ones are definitely very influenced by the Israel lobby, especially the ones that are run by Fox News Corporation. And I'm pretty sure that includes the Washington Post. So yeah, I think this is the greatest idea. I don't think that America should continue to support Israel in any way. And I don't think they actually respect us. I don't think they respect Americans, and I don't think they respect Christians in general. I actually think they just use the entire thing to weaponize their own religion against us. You know, you see commercials that are like, donate $25 so you can build the Judeo-Christian relationship. It's like, bitch, what? How does that help? How does that help? What about the kids who are starving in Palestine? What if we just send money to them? Will that still help? Because that's what Christians should do. Christians should be helping people who need help, not helping people who are already a very rich nation who receive countless financial aid from the United States. You know, it doesn't even get questioned. Right after the Jeffrey Epstein burial and right after Israel broke the ceasefire, we still sent them another $6.5 billion. So, I don't know. I really, I question the legitimacy of Israel's motives behind everything. And I think until they start acting like a trustworthy nation, until they start acting like a nation who wants to actually play peaceful in the world, there is no obligation from anybody, even if you're a Jewish American, to keep supporting them. And I really question why Jewish Americans continue to support the modern day state of Israel, especially the ones who don't really hold any ties there. I mean, if your passport is American, wouldn't you want America to succeed over everything? Don't you want your grandkids who are going to grow up in America to have a really great life? Do you think they're going to have a great life if America's $40 trillion in debt and we're still sending billions to a foreign nation? And not just billions, we're sending them weapons, we're letting American soldiers go die on their behalf. So if you're a Jewish American who supports Israel, and you put your affinity for Israel over America or equal to it, I don't think you should be a part of this country. I really think anybody who, and it's not just for Israel, this goes for any nation, nationwide or worldwide, but if you put your affinity for another nation or even equal to or above America, you should not only be deported and denaturalized, there should be huge restrictions on immigration for it. There should be almost a fine on your way out, maybe. There should be some real punishment to that. There cannot be people in America who are actively working against America or working for a foreign nation. That is not in America's best interest. That is not America first. That is not being a true patriot. And I'm going to move on. We've been talking about this topic for, holy shit, we're already 45 minutes into the show. I don't know if you guys listened to that whole rant, but if you did, I hope you guys enjoy. We're going to go on, though. I want to just go on to our EBT part of this. To wrap up the Israel thing really quick, I just want to say, we got you guys. You guys thought you could fool us forever. You guys thought you could. You guys thought it was easy, and it probably was, because, again, boomers are idiots. You could show a boomer an AI video of, like, a tidal wave hitting your apartment and send it to your, like, boomer grandpa, and you'd be like, holy shit, did that just happen? Are you okay? And it's like, it's Sora. Like, it's AI. It's perplexity. They're kind of dumb in a lot of ways, and it's not all of them, but a lot of them. A lot of them are, they're not that smart, so. They thought they could fool us forever, but then Gen Z came in like a fucking wrecking ball. We were like, bitch. No, actually, that's a bad analogy. Like a pimp walking into his whorehouse, just, bitch, smack a hoe real quick and be like, nope, you're not going to get away with that shit any longer. You're not lying to me anymore. Give me the rest of the money you hid from me. Give me the secrets you hid. He just walks in, bitch. That's what we got to be. We got to be like a pimp walking into a whorehouse, demanding that his hoes stay in line. I don't support that. I don't support pimps and prostitution. It's just a fun analogy that we don't keep our hoes in line. We don't keep Israel in line. Israel's our hoe, basically. They're our bottom bitch. They're our top earner. But yet they continuously rob us and fuck us and rape us, and they don't seem to take any accountability when they hurt one of our own. We need to act like a pimp would act and just bitch slap them one time, put on the rings real quick and just backhand the hoe really quick. Just backhand the hoe one time. It would be fun. We're going to move on to our EBT section though, but Israel, you thought you had us. You thought you had us, but you don't. You had us in the first half. Yeah, I'm not going to lie, Israel. You had us in the first half. Oh, you had us. But like Brady down 28-3, it's not fucking over. The game's not over yet, baby, and we're still ready to rock. We're still ready to roll. We're going to push this 3-state solution, and we are going to pressure our government and every member who ever wants to be in government to not take money from the Israel lobby. We are going to stop electing politicians who take money from AIPAC because people are aware of it now. The masses have woken up. Find me a kid in America who doesn't know what AIPAC is. 10 years ago, it would have been everyone you knew. 10 years ago, there wasn't a boomer, there wasn't a Gen X, there wasn't a single retard in this country who knew what AIPAC was. Now every retard and their mother knows. Now we all know. I'm not trying to call you guys, I'm a retard. Again, we're all retarded. We're all a little retarded sometimes, guys. It's our nature. It's human nature sometimes. But let's go in. This is, this is just a funny video. This isn't even anything crazy, but right now, they're threatening to take food stamps away on... It's not they're threatening, they are. They're taking food stamps away on November 1st because of the government shutdown. And a certain portion of the population, I think you guys know which one, is now threatening to just steal, loot, not follow the laws. And it just shows, like, if my tax dollars aren't going to pay for your food and your housing anymore, you're just going to take it. You don't give a shit about the rules. You just want free shit. That's all you want. You don't actually care about the order of things or the rules or decorum or peacefulness. No, you just want free shit. So, I don't know. This is basically what it's, this is me spending 15 minutes on it's not a 15-minute video, but this reaction here is basically what it's like after I spend 15 minutes on EBT TikTok.
With the parts,
it sounds like you're in like the I don't know, it sounds like the grocery aisles at a Walmart. I just thought that was a quick little funny video. I do have some more things. Like, this is someone just openly admitting it. Poverty breeds crime, like directly. If you think people losing healthcare, SNAP, housing, all at fucking retard can't even spell isn't going to flip this country over, you're a fool. You will see a spike in crime, criminology 101. Why is it that the poor white people statistically steal less than poor blacks then? What a disrespectful comment to the working poor of this country who doesn't steal. The working poor of this country who has morals. And I'm not saying there's not white people who don't do this. I'm just saying that black people disproportionately do. They're a very small percentage of the population. Yet we can never hold them accountable because of racism. You're racist when you hold any race besides white people accountable. You know, if you don't kiss the shoes of a black guy every day, you're a racist sack of shit, you know? According to the liberal media, who still supports BLM, which was essentially just a massive scam. But yeah, this guy's basically just saying that, yeah, we're gonna steal. You wanna take all that from us? You wanna take all that? I can't even say the word right. You wanna take all that? You wanna take all that? The white man's gonna take all that? That's what they're saying. It makes me wish we took it years ago. If you're so dumb you can't even spell, no offense, you don't deserve my tax dollars in EBT. You don't. You should have a bare minimum amount of education, Ellie. Like, these people are obviously stupidly uneducated. Not all of them. Again, it's the ones like this who are saying that they are going to steal. The criminals, the violent ones, the ones who should just be removed from America or locked in jail with the keys burned and thrown away. Because, yeah, America is not becoming safer. I mean, it's not like over time we're solving this crime issue. No, it's getting worse. Look at all our best cities, as they want to call them. Look at New York, look at Chicago, look at LA, look at San Francisco, look at St. Louis. Are they with the, look at Atlanta, look at Miami. Miami's probably the safest of all them. That's because there's Cubans there, and they all at least hold shit down sometimes. But yeah, look at all our biggest cities in this country. They're falling to shit. They're falling to crime. They're falling to desperate poverty rates, where these people are now going to start committing crimes because they're not getting handouts anymore, because they're not getting free shit. They got so used to the idea of yeah, I work a bare minimum amount of hours at a really shit job. I show no signs of improvement in my job, and I do it because I expect the government to give me money because of the position I'm in, because the white man held us down for so long. It's a victim mentality that I am not willing to accept. I do want to go on. I want to show you guys this. It's a little chart. The welfare use by nativity and legal status. So yellow is U.S.-born headed households. Blue is the legal immigrants who immigrated here legally. And the red here is the illegal headed households. As you can see, in every category, except for housing, where they are down by 1%. Everyone has 5.5 and they have 4. But every other category, so any welfare, cash, and food, and Medicaid, illegals are at the top. And then legal immigrants are second. And then U.S.-born headed households are third. So people who are native to this land, Americans, true Native Americans like me, are looked over in this country completely. And we are allowing the mass invasion of our nation and our resources to be completely depleted. Why would we continue allowing legal and illegal immigrants to pour into this nation if we know that Americans are struggling, but they're not getting the resources they need? You know, maybe we'd have money for EBT for all these people if we weren't giving so much fucking money to legal and illegal immigrants. You know, if we put Americans over everything, true America First policies, maybe we'd have some more money in the budget. Maybe we wouldn't be in the debt we're in. Maybe the job economy wouldn't be fucked, and employers wouldn't be less likely to hire Americans and actually pay real American wages to us. Maybe we wouldn't be fearful when we're driving on the highway and you see a 16, 18-wheeler, and you're like, oh shit, let me speed past this thing quick because I don't know if this is just going to be a Jeter or towelhead who doesn't know how to fucking drive, who doesn't even speak English, who's driving on the wrong side of the highway. And people are going to be like, that's a crazy example. No, I showed videos of it last week of multiple people who didn't even speak English or spoke broken English, and they all came from a similar region, usually India or Muslim countries, and they are refusing to follow our rules. They don't understand them. They can't read the U-turn signs. They can't read the exit signs. They can't read any of the street signs. They know red means stop and green means go, and that's the extent of their driving knowledge. And those people were given CDLs. They were allowed to just mass murder Americans through their transit operations. They were driving around and they crash into Americans all the time, killing them. Because if you get hit by an 18-wheeler, you're fucking dead. I mean, the chance of surviving that is slim and dick. But yeah, we're still supporting them. We're still giving them all our shit. We're still giving them welfare, cash, food, Medicaid, housing. And it doesn't seem to matter if Americans are struggling. And then this is another thing. where it's who's getting the EBT cut and what nations they come from. This is a interesting little chart. On the bottom, you got Italian and Indians and white people. That's on the very bottom. Surprised by the Indian part, but it's nice. It's nice to know they're not getting a ton. Because we'll show some. I showed you guys just the other day. They have a shit throwing contest in their country where they throw elephant shit at each other. I don't want those people in my country. If you're throwing elephant shit at each other, stay the fuck over there. Keep that in your own country. But yeah, it's Afghani, Somali, Iraqi, Dominican, Caribbean, Native Americans, or what they call Native Americans. Not the real Native. We're the real Native Americans, not them. Puerto Ricans, Cubans, black people, Arabs, Cambodians, Haitians, Pacific Islanders, Honduran, Armenian, Bangladesh, Moroccan, Mexican, Guatemalan, Nicaraguan, Ethiopian, Jamaican, Palestinian, Salvadorian, Vietnamese, Ecuadorian, Pakistani, Peruvian, Colombian, Israeli, Nigerian, Filipino, Chinese, and then it goes to the end where it was white, Italian, and Indian. So right now, all these people are getting taken care of before the Native Americans who built this country. Down here at the bottom, only 8.6%. And again, they put this here to misrepresent, but they're not the true Native Americans. They are Native American Indians. That's what you can call them. But the true Native Americans are the people whose ancestors helped build this land, helped settle here, helped build all the greatest cities in this country. I am a true Native American. If you're watching the show, a lot of you are true Native Americans, and don't let them tell you otherwise. We are the real natives to this country. And foreign influence is everywhere. You know, Nick Fuentes just started selling those flags with George Washington that says, nativist, beware of foreign influence. Something, I don't know the exact thing, but everyone should go buy it. It's an awesome flag. I ordered mine. I'm excited for it to come. I also, let's see, I think I got it here. Yeah. I ordered this too. I like Nick enough that I'm going to promo all this stuff. I got the pen. Got my America First hat. What's up, bitches? How we doing? America First, baby. That's actually, look at that. That's a sexy-ass look. That's a good, should I wear this the rest of the show? I'm a handsome son of a bitch. What the fuck? Look at, not to glaze myself. I'm doing tricks on myself right now. Look at that. I look good in this fucking thing. Should I wear this the rest of the show? I don't know. Maybe I'll throw it on a couple times here and there. I enjoy the hat. It's a great hat. Get your America First caps. Go get them at the store at fuentes.store, Nick's website. We got to support Nick where we can because Nick is the leader of the America First movement. He is the one pushing this forward. He is the smartest person in the America First movement. And he started the America First Foundation, and I think inevitably he will be president. There also is a Kalshi bet on that right now. By 2045, they're saying Nick has a chance of being president. Kalshi has betting odds on it now. If we want to, here's something I thought about. A good way to get Nick's name really in the mainstream is pump that, even if we just do it for a couple days. But if we pump up the yes bets on Nick Fuentes becoming the president by 2045, the Kalshi bet, I mean, the media cannot ignore that. They cannot ignore if it says like a 50% chance or something. And if we could really just pump those numbers up temporarily by just mass betting the yes, that would be beautiful. I already put a small little bet on there, and I'll keep sprinkling some in time and time. We're going to go on, though. Let me show you guys. I thought this was crazy. But, so a man was arrested after a string of robberies. An illegal immigrant from Honduras. And then on his arrest information, it says he's a white male. It's a dark-ass white male, right? That's an orange-looking white male. That's a very tan-looking, brown-skin-looking white male, don't you say? Like, not even the hair is white. If you took out his face and neck and ears and like everything showing his skin color and just showed me the guy's hair and beard style, like his fucking weird mutton chops and that like little thing he's got going on with the chin strap under, I would instantly tell you that's a black guy or an Hispanic. It's not. It's clearly not. And the fact that they marked this guy as a white guy just goes to show you that it's really hard to trust some of the crime stats because they are very obviously trying to prevent people from realizing the real statistics, which is white people, while they do commit crimes, commit a lot less crimes than a lot of other races. And The smaller races, the minorities in this country, seem to commit the majority of the crimes, the violent crimes as well. So I thought that was a very, very interesting take. That this, this guy, he's, look at this white man being arrested. A white man just going down. It's fucking ridiculous. They call that guy a white man. We're going to go on, though. I saw this. This was a super predator who's finally getting what he deserves. And we all know eventually they're going to try and get this guy out of jail. But a man named Bianca Ellis, or maybe a woman, I don't even fucking, probably a woman. Bianca Ellis sounds like a woman, who was convicted for the brutal murder of 3-year-old boy Julian Wood in Cleveland, has now been sentenced to life in prison without parole. Huge W, huge win. Now we need to urge them to never release this person. How about just incinerate the fucking key? Don't give him rec time. Don't give him playtime. Throw him in life in solitary. They killed a kid, one of God's children, dead at 3 years old because of this super predator. And whenever people are like, oh my God, he's had super predator. Oh my Lord, he's had super predator. Yeah, anyone who acts violently, you're a super predator. I don't care who you are. If you act violently, if you kill people, you rob people, you engage in these violent acts, you're a super predator. There's no better word to describe you than that. But yeah, this person, let's see what it. Life without parole is justice, but do we ever really understand what drives someone to this? Yeah, there's a lot of what drives this person. Lack of accountability, no decorum, on average, lower IQ, lack of parents, statistically drug abuse. A lot of different things lead to this that are very, very in line with the average stereotypes and statistics. We're going to go on now. I want to show you this video. This I thought was ridiculous. They'll blame racism when there's no stores willing to open in the area. This is another EBT video or showing what happens, This is what's going to happen when they take EBT, and it's already been happening. That's how we know it's definitely going to keep happening and only get worse. This is a video of what they call a takeover, where they have a bunch of people pour into a place at once and just start looting and robbing it. Excuse me, guys. Sorry about that.
Oh my God! Oh my God! They steal it! They steal it! I got balls. Y'all ain't gonna leave out with it.
I paid for this shit.
This is outrageous. They all just steal it.
That shit not cute. Y'all got mom and dad.
Dirty as shit.
That's not cute.
Dare I call them animals? If you're robbing a store, there's no better word for you, super predator, animal. I don't know what you want to be called. I don't really give a shit. You're just a piece of shit. How about that? You're a piece of shit. Let me turn my phone on silent. Keeps going off. We're going to go on, though. We're already an hour into this show, so we're going to speed run the back half of this. Excuse me. Sorry about that. This is, I urge everyone on my show, I've said this before and I'll say it again. If you're a white person, never fight a black person. And I'm not saying you couldn't beat up, if you had to get in a fight, you couldn't win it. What I am saying, though, is they operate in a way that we don't when it comes to fighting a lot of times, and it's a group pack behavior. Yeah, some people hate when you use the word pack, but again, when you're referring to groups of violent people acting violently, what's a better word to call them than a pack of animals or something along those lines? But these people got jumped, and it didn't really end well for them, and it's very sad, and it was by the super predators who did it, the ones that we need to have put in jail and locked away forever. I'm going to show you guys this clip real quick, but this right here should be the warning of why you shouldn't do it, because again, maybe you'll win the fight, but they're going to come back and they're going to either kill you or they're going to jump you and people you know, and when you're on the ground, they're going to pick you up by your hair and start kicking you in the face until you are internally bleeding or dead. It's not all of them, but the violent ones. For some reason I have to say that, or else people are like, oh, you're generalizing, some of you are just too stupid to understand that I'm not talking about the entire race. I'm just talking about the violent portion of it.
Look like yo. Fuck slap. Don't be talking to my little brother though. Nigga, watch out, Mimi. Don't touch it. Mimi, don't touch it. Don't touch it, Mimi. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Oh, you good, Jay. You good. Drop. You good.
See how they're laughing? Animals.
I already know.
Yep, then they chase her down. Unprovoked, she's walking the other way. They sneak up behind her, grabs her hair, starts punching her in the face. She's crying, she's screaming, kicking her in the head.
Look like.
These are the animals in our society that need to be put in jail forever. Anyone who chooses to act violently, I don't give a shit what you look like or who you are. You need to be put in jail if you're acting this violently. But weirdly, it's just, it's predominantly one group, and that one group is a very minority race. Whenever you say what race that is, they tend to call you a racist for some reason. The woke mob doesn't like it at all. I saw this too from Matt Walsh. 1 in 5 New Yorkers can't speak the English language. 40% weren't born in this country. New York is not an American city anymore. Exactly. This is what's happening to our country. When you replace Americans with foreigners and you just call them Americans, it's not still America. You are importing the entire third world into our nation. And then you're expecting us to just adapt to it. You're calling us this melting. We're not a melting pot. That's the thing. America has never been this big melting pot. That was started by the ADL. That was started by early Israeli groups. The melting pot thing is not real at all. The melting pot is just a way to ruin America and lose all American values that we've ever had and lose the culture that we've had here, to dismantle white culture completely and eradicate it. They even say white culture is not real. White culture is not real is a statement they say. Shakespeare, Mozart, every fucking good painter. Half the inventions, every mode of transportation you've ever seen. But yeah, no, white culture is not real, guys. Guys, we're crazy to think white people have any culture, right? Let's go on. This is what I was saying earlier that we should be doing. And again, I told you guys I'm not going to steal credit for the idea. But this is what we should be doing. We should be deporting illegals who are taking our jobs. Watch this video really quick, how it worked out for this guy.
2 weeks ago, I made an anonymous tip to an ICE office about a restaurant I had applied to that rejected my application. 3 days later, there was a raid on that restaurant and 12 of their employees were deported.
Nice.
I did this because I really wanted to work at that restaurant, but they were full staffed. So I figured, what better way to get an opening in than to have half of their staff deported. So that's what I did. When I reapplied, I got hired, and I've been working there a few days, but now I'm worried that they're going to find out that I was the one who called and had half of their staff deported. For anyone who's been in a similar situation, was there some way you were able to soften the blow ahead of time, or kind of get them used to the idea that maybe an employee here got everyone deported? Who knows? I'm just seeking advice because I do like a lot of my coworkers, and I don't want them to hate me or think I'm a bad person or something.
If your coworkers hate you for that, they're retarded. They all probably got a raise and more Americans are going to be hired, which is the correct thing. So again, I think we should all start doing this. If you guys want a job but you don't seem to be able to get it, you guys should start calling ICE, getting these people deported, getting them removed from America. And then we will actually be able to have these jobs that Americans deserve to have. Let's go over one more. I have a couple more illegal immigration things, and then we're gonna go on. Let's watch this video really quick.
The real Chicagoans that I talk to, that I communicate with, mostly black and brown, actually, tell me that you don't seem to know the difference between illegal aliens and real Chicago citizens. They feel that you are siding with the illegal aliens over them in their communities. And okay. Sadly,
William, let's get to the question.
Let's get to the question. The real question is simply this. I don't know how to make it any more direct. An illegal alien from Nicaragua grabbed a woman on the north side last week, bashed her head into the sidewalk, knocked her unconscious, and raped her. If that had been your wife, Stacy.
Okay, all right, we're not going to answer it. Thank you. Thanks, William.
All right.
Would you want ICE to deport her?
All right.
To
Let's move on.
Yes or no?
Let's move on.
Answer the question as a man, not as mayor, but as a man. Would you want
Yeah, thanks.
ICE
Thank you.
to deport
Yeah, let's just move on from that question, guys. Let's not answer it. Let's not answer that question, you know. A woman had her hair grabbed, knocked to the ground, head bashed on the sidewalk, knocking her unconscious, and then this sick animal, this disgusting illegal immigrant, raped her. And when the mayor is asked, you know, if that happened to someone in your family, would you deport them because you didn't deport this person? Let's just move on. Let's not answer that question. Really, you sick fuck? How about protect Americans? How about if you're going to be the mayor of an American city, you actually do something to protect Americans? Because especially in Chirac over there, where crime is second. You know, crime is everywhere there. You're walking around with a nice watch, expect an AR-15 to be put in your face. You got a car in the area, just leave the keys on top of the leave the keys on top of the tire, so that way they don't have to break your windows. They can just go in and take what they want. That's what they're telling you to do. They want you to feel unsafe in your own nation. They don't want Americans to feel safe. They don't give a shit about Americans anymore. They stopped giving a shit about Americans a long time ago. I thought that was a crazy video. And this is an update from the White House. The White House might be planning to shake up ICE leadership to accelerate the sluggish pace of deportations. Hopefully this can happen, because according to the Department of Homeland Security, more than 400,000 deportations have taken place so far, short of Stephen Miller's target of 3,000 per day and currently averaging around 1,000 to 2,000 daily. By the end of the year, according to DHS, Trump is on track to deport 600,000 illegal immigrants, short of his 1 million goal. Joe Biden allowed in upwards of 12 million illegal immigrants into this nation, and we're only going to get 600,000 this year? We're not even going to get to 1 million? I was hoping we'd get to 3. I was hoping that after 4 years, we'd be able to get 10 to 12 million out. You know, I was hoping Donald Trump could exceed those Bill Clinton numbers. Bill Clinton got out 11. Obama got out 5, and Donald Trump might not even get to the Obama numbers. It's actually abysmal and embarrassing. So we do need a change in the ICE leadership, because right now, ICE is not actually doing what we need them to do. Yes, they are carrying out some deportations, and yes, there has been a lot of liberal pushback that is setting them back, but that is not an excuse. If the courts are saying you can't deport illegal immigrants, guess what? I'm going to introduce you to the unitary executive theory that says the president can do what the fuck he wants, and if the president wants to order the National Guard into every major fucking city, right at the same time, everywhere, he can get these illegals out. We can do it. If he sends National Guard and ICE into every major city and starts deporting the shit out of them, regularly, daily, hourly, minutely. By the fucking minute, I want these people out of my country. But no, they're not doing that for some reason. For some reason, and again, I'm rarely going to say don't follow a court order, but if the courts are completely and systematically fucking over native-born Americans like myself, and they're putting our lives in danger by allowing these criminal illegal immigrants into our nation, yeah, I'm telling the president, you should defy the court orders. You should send in the National Guard. You should send ICE into every major city. And any mayor, any governor, anyone who gives you any pushback from the political system, from the media, there should be some form of repercussions to that. And again, they could argue against it. They could use their words. But if they want to create laws that say that we're a safe place for illegal immigrants to come and we're not going to allow ICE into our cities, guess what? We are going to arrest you for harboring illegal aliens. We are going to arrest you for breaking our laws. We are going to empower the National Guard and the ICE agents and the police officers to do their fucking jobs for once and to make America safe again. Because it's not even like make America great again. At this point, it's make America fucking safe. It's not safe anymore. We're fucked. We need real America First policies. Again, that's why we follow Nick Fuentes. That's why we love the guy. We're going to go on, though. I talked about this last week, and people are now writing about it. This guy, a YouTuber, Tyler Oliveira, branded racist and dragged through the muck after filming Indian Village's messy poop-throwing fight. So it's racist to just expose something that's actually happening? He responded. He was like, it isn't racist to film a poop-throwing festival. Was this article written by an Indian? Yeah, probably. Literally, it's crazy. It's like, it's racist now to expose just real things happening. Is it racist to say that in Iraq the age of consent is 9? Is that racist to say they're a bunch of pedophiles? I don't think so. I think that's just the reality of the situation. Is it racist to say that Indians throw elephant shit at each other and they throw cow shit at each other and they celebrate it? And they have a literal festival surrounding it? No, that's just the reality of what happens. And that's why I don't want them mass immigrating to our society. It's fucking crazy the way they'll drag your name through the mud. I saw this. I want your guys, again, comment on this. Let me know what you guys think about this. If you guys are going to comment on the show, make sure to leave a comment about this. They have these girls wearing these shirts that say Hot Girls for Zoran. And it's in response to Emily Saves America doing her Hot Girls for Cuomo podcast. Are any of these girls hot to you? I would give that like a 3.5 out of 10. That's like a 2. It's like a 2.8, maybe a 3.1. It's like a 1.8. All these girls are sub 5. I mean, all these girls are fucking disgusting looking. But again, this could just be my subjective opinion. So I want to know what the viewers think. Are these girls hot girls for Zoran, or are they just disgusting, ugly tortas? Let me know. Comment either disgusting, ugly tortas or, Zoran's got some hot bitches. Let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments there, because I'm curious. We got just a few more things to show you guys before we go into our comments. Again, it's been a little bit of a longer show. Sorry about that. Not really. I don't mind doing it. It's Monday. I'm back. Like I said, Mondays, some people hate them, but I feel like I like doing the show, guys. I enjoy doing this. I enjoy just shooting the shit with the fellas. And I know we got some women listeners, but I'm talking to the we all know I'm talking to the fellas in this show. This show is about the boys, the disaffected sons of the West who got left behind, fucked, and raped by our government and foreign nations. I want to show this video of the woman who is running for the New Jersey governor she's predicted to win. And she was on the Breakfast Club podcast, a radio show, which is kind of a ridiculous show with Charlemagne. He's kind of a retard about certain things. Not bad about everything, but a retard about certain things. But he does call out the Israel lobby sometimes. I'll give him that. Kind of based there. But I want you guys to watch this video of her just completely malfunctioning.
So when Newsmax claims that you made $7 million from stock trades, what are they talking about?
Newsmax is, first of all, a very questionable organization that is paying multiple fines. I'm not sure what they're talking about.
Well, did you make $7 million in stock trades at all? Or?
I haven't. I don't believe I did, but I'd have to go see what that was alluding to again, what kind of came from.
Doesn't matter, because I'm going to make sure that he doesn't get to serve again when I win for governor in November of this year.
There's another big difference between her public service and my public service. It actually cost me money the time I put in and took away from my company. In the 7 years that she's been in Congress, she's tripled her net worth. There's another big difference between the two of us, okay? She broke the law. She had to pay fines for violating federal law on stock trades and stock reporting, and the New York Times reports that while you're sitting on the House Armed Services Committee, you were trading defense stocks.
Give New York and New Jersey back to the Italians. Why is it that when the Italians had control of the Northeast that it was safer, it was better? Somehow there was less crime going on. The Italians, the mafia. Again, I don't glorify the mob. Like I said, I denounce violence. But somehow the mafia still made New York safer and New Jersey safer than it is today when we don't have them running things and we got the hoodlums running shit. We got the woke liberal Democrats and the hoodlums running the show now, and somehow it was safer when the mafia was in charge. It's kind of funny, right? Let's go over. This is, I talk about this trend all the time, but again, the media is finally reporting it. Gen Z males are turning away from Donald Trump, but are not aligning with the Democratic Party either, expressing frustration with both sides. Well, yeah, I mean, no shit. Democrat, their entire thing is, we're going to allow men and women's sports. We are going to allow illegal immigrants into this country. You can't make jokes or else you're canceled. They want you to sacrifice your own children and not get married. They want white people to become extinct. That's the Democrat ticket right now. That's what they want. They want your kids to be mutilated. That's the entire Democrat Party's. That's every position they believe, realistically. All the major ones. And For Donald Trump, it's like he is just not based. He's not far right enough sometimes. And he makes some base comments, says some base things, does a couple things that's like, okay. I can respect it. I'll give you your props where it's due. But at the same time, we all know Donald Trump and Bibi Netanyahu, when they have these sleepovers, it's more like a little fuck sesh. They are making this war coalition. I don't know if Bibi's raping him or if it's consensual. But we're getting fucked one way or the other, whether it's consensual or not. Our president is allowing it to happen, so kind of consensual, right? It's very sad we're getting raped by a much smaller foreign nation. And that is the reason that Gen Z males are not supporting Donald Trump. Donald Trump buried the Epstein files. He bombed Iran. He said he was going to end the war on day one. One of the wars still isn't over, and the other doesn't seem to actually be ending. You know, when the side that we're aligned with is breaking the peace deal constantly and is now going on a forward offensive in Lebanon, does it really seem like a country that wants peace, or does it seem like a country that wants to continue to destabilize the entire region of the Middle East? You know, but people call you an anti-Semite for questioning that somehow, right? It's crazy. This is what we were talking about earlier, and we talked about it last week too, but Amazon is laying off 30,000 corporate employees starting tomorrow in an effort to reduce costs and address overhiring during the pandemic. This is what they're saying, but realistically, it has to do with the new H-1B fines. They have to pay $100,000 per employee. It also has to do with the fact that they are now incorporating AI into everything they do. They're manufacturing, and soon they'll be replacing most of the white-collar jobs or entry-level white-collar jobs with AI. And Paramount is doing the same thing. So Paramount tomorrow, or in the upcoming weeks, will be laying off upwards of 3,000 people in a very similar transition to AI technology. I do want to end the show talking, or just showing this Candace clip. Again, this is 5 minutes, so we're going to watch the whole thing because I do think it's important, or at least most of it. This is from Candace's video today, where Candace shows a new angle to this assassination, where it shows Charlie's chief of staff doing something very suspicious. He was, what it appears to be is he was on the phone before the shot rang off, but he wasn't on the phone. He just had his phone here, but he was already on a call. And then immediately, within less than a second, I think she says it's like 800 milliseconds from the time that the shot struck Charlie Kirk, so right after, 800 milliseconds later, he has the phone up to his ear, and it's not like he's dialing. He's already on a call with somebody. So it seems like he was already on a call, which is very odd. I thought a lot of Candace's theories behind this were kind of crazy, and I'm not going to say that they're all perfect. I do think some of the things she says are not fully there. But where I will give her props is she did release the text messages that showed that Charlie was turning on the Israel lobby, and that the Israel lobby was actually turning on him in a lot of ways and forced him out. And Candace is one of the only people investigating this right now, or truly investigating it. And again, while I might not agree with her method of doing it, I find the idea of monetizing every stream and teasing things to be a little bit of a grift. I'm going to put my personal thoughts on that behind, and I'm not going to say stuff like that. For the time being, I'm going to give Candace the benefit of the doubt, because I do find this interesting enough that I want to support Candace's investigation. Not that I haven't always wanted to support it, but we do have to call out grifts where we see them. And I don't think investigating it's a grift. I just think monetizing it while you're teasing information is the grifting part. Even Ian Carroll says he's not monetizing the streams that he's talking about this on. And he works with her. So, that's how she should be doing it. It's like her husband's worth $200 million, Candace. Like, you don't need the fucking money, sweetheart. But I do fully support this investigation at this point. I'm not saying I agree fully that Israel did it or that her theory is 100% correct, but I do think it's very worth looking into after seeing this.
But the bigger thing is that he says Mikey had blood all over him, except Mikey did not have blood anywhere near him because Mikey was behind the tent when Charlie got shot, and Mikey, in less than a second, does something that I find to be quite strange. He puts his phone to his ear and he begins a conversation. So we're going to watch that clip in its entirety. Mark is going to bring it in. So we decided to slow this clip down, and we're going to watch this clip slow down so you can see that it is exactly 834 milliseconds from the time that you hear the shot. That is how long it takes for Mikey McCoy to put the phone to his ear. Now, why is that precise timing so important? Because there's no dialing. Mikey didn't have time to dial, okay? You can't dial and put your phone to an ear in 0.834 seconds. The next time that you're going to see Mikey McCoy, as we just showed you, is in just under 2.5 seconds on the other side of the tent. He's on a phone call. So we can track Mikey, but let's watch the clip again in milliseconds so you really grasp how quickly this transpires. So when this clip was brought, there we go, we're tracking that. Yeah, when the clip was brought to my attention, I obviously have a file, a big folder of files of every angle, and I decided to track Mikey from every angle available to see, like, maybe we just missed it, and he did at some point put that phone down, dial a number, speed dial, hold down one, I don't know. Maybe we missed it. Because that seems automatic, right? 0.834, that seems pretty quick. And no, he doesn't do that. We even have him in front of Charlie's car. When Charlie is brought to the car, the waiting car rather, he is still on the phone. I can show you the clip of that. Take a look at this. Don't worry, we'll slow it down for you. See him in the background with the backpack. It's Mikey McCoy, okay? So what are we to make of that? The only logical conclusion that I can come up with, and many others, because I've pressed, I said, play devil's advocate. I want you to advocate for Mikey McCoy. I want you to play lawyer, and you are representing your client, Mikey McCoy. What was he do? How did he do it this quickly? No one could win this game. The only logical conclusion we come up with was that Mikey was already on a phone call at 12:23 p.m. By 12:23 p.m., he was already on a phone call. So I said, let's go back a little earlier in the footage and see if we can find when he actually maybe dials onto the phone. Maybe we can see him pick up the phone and begin a call before the shot takes off. And then after beginning that call, if we're following this logic, that would mean he puts his phone down until Charlie gets shot. And we were able to find what we think could be that moment. And I can tell you that it is 1 minute and 45 seconds approximately before that shot goes off, and we can watch that here. You see Mikey's on his phone here, and you're going to see he pulls it up, and he starts to cover his ear again. Now, that could be unrelated. Again, we're taking a guess here. That's what made the most sense to us because we couldn't justify it in any other way. And I want to be clear, we're not here to make assumptions, okay? And we wouldn't have to make any assumptions if Turning Point USA could just tell the truth. They could just be open and they could be honest about everything. Okay, I obviously went out to both Mikey McCoy and Andrew Colvett for a statement, asked those two questions. Hey, who were you on the phone with? What's going on here? No response. Weird. Because if that was me and I saw clips going viral and people were drawing conclusions from that clip, thinking that I was already on the phone, thinking that my reaction was weird, I would instantly hit back. I'd say, here's my call log. You want to know who I was on the phone with? 911, obviously. I was freaking out. I called 911. I didn't know what I was doing. Here's my phone. Here's my whole call log for that day. But this is, I don't know. I guess we live in a world where that doesn't make sense. I would have issued a statement to dispel any rumors, but they have not.
Yeah, I thought that was a very interesting clip. So, again, Candace, I'm going to give you your props where it's due. You are doing this investigation with you and your team, and you're really one of the only people who are truly looking into this. So, I really appreciate that. Again, I might not agree with everything you say on this subject and on all the conclusions you've made, but I do think that this is a very, very interesting video, and I do think the fact that he was already on the phone, and then not only was he on the phone, but he walked away right after the shot, and He didn't walk away with any of the Turning Point people. He just slowly walked away on the phone ahead of Charlie Kirk's car, not even checking to see how Charlie Kirk was doing. And then that same very person's father lied and said that he was covered in blood, but there was no blood. So very, very odd, and I'm going to give Candace her props there. I do want to go on and check if there's any headlines before we go to our comments for the day. Holy shit, what? No way. This is the big headline, this top one. We're going to go to that in 1 second. I'm going to just quickly comment on this first because I want to spend more time on the top one because holy shit, that's a big topic. Younger couples challenge surname traditions in American marriages. Men, this is a message to you. If you take your wife's last name, just cut your balls off too and stop calling yourself a man. That's all I have to say on that subject. Let's go to the main topic. Tucker Carlson conducts 2-hour interview with Nick Fuentes. Holy shit, did it just release tonight? What the fuck? It already released? I've been filming this while it was released? What the fuck? Okay, I know what I'm doing tonight. Holy shit. We're watching this. Everyone go watch this. Again, stay for the comments. Come on. But I was going to say go just do it now. But stay for the comments and then go watch this right after. Holy shit. Holy shit. Let's go. Let's go, baby. Let's go. America first is inevitable. Nick is back in the mainstream. The generational run continues. Total fucking Groyper victory declared, baby. Total. I don't even have to watch the video to know it's a total Groyper victory. The total Groyper victory has been declared, folks. It's declared. Let's go. Let's go, baby. Okay, let's go on to our comments. Let's go over what we talked about really quick first. But we talked about the let me bring us back to the main screen. We talked about the Jewish sniper, Aaron Levitsky, who was targeting the woman and the double standard held on that when they targeted the Jewish people in the media. It was the worst thing in the world. And again, we should denounce the violence. But when they target an American and it's a Jew who's doing it, they don't seem to give a shit. And all those same people seem to ignore it. We talked about the potential of a 3-state solution. We talked about the EBT freakout. We talked about Candace. We talked about Amazon laying off jobs. We talked about illegal immigration and crime. And if you can't get a job, call ICE on that restaurant or on that place and get all their illegal workers deported. And then you got a job. That's been the whole show, though. Let's go over to our comments. Give me one moment to just get them pulled up for you guys. Closing out a couple tabs. Holy shit, I'm amped to go watch this. Holy shit, I'm literally so excited. Tucker and Nick, finally. Bitch, I am America. Remember that? Remember that? The Tucker Carlson? You call him a gay kid in his parents' basement in Chicago, but he forgot that that's exactly who he was speaking to. Is a young man who'd been disaffected in this country. I'm from Chicago. Chicago is America. I am America. Let's go, Nick. All right. We're gonna read the comments though. First comment, someone said, "Appreciate you releasing this." I'm here. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for, folks. Someone said, "You rock." Thank you. Oh, it's the woman who went to Catholic church for the first time this Sunday. Let me know how your experience was. I'm excited to hear about it. Very glad that another one of God's children are returning home. That's awesome. Let's see. Next comment says, Nick is 1,000% correct. They are going to put the psycho in place and then enact their plan to shut it down. Yeah, I really do think what Nick said is correct. They are going to use what happened to Josh Hammer, Laura Loomer, Seth Dillon to enact some form of hate speech laws. It's not going to be good. Thank you for your comment. Appreciate you tuning in. Someone said, "Can I just start naming them?" Bro was about to list them all. Yeah, that was, I remember I did the White Lives Matter? The answer is yes, they do. But a lot of people seem to think they don't. And when they said they don't like white people, I was like, oh, can we now just say the races we don't? Is that socially acceptable? Can we just start listing them? I'll give the list. Don't worry. Like Candace, I'm going to grift that one. I'll tease you on it. I'm not going to name them all now. But you guys know some of them. Iraqis on there. I don't like any country, Somalians too. I don't like any country that doesn't have an age of consent or has an age of consent lower than ours. It's just, get the fuck away from my country. Appreciate you commenting. Someone said, Catholics are very organized globalists indeed. The Jesuits work hand in and that's got to be a typo. With the WEF, Martin Luther wrote a book about it. Judaism and the strongest countries had Protestantism running through its veins. All those wacky men who disavow women are not to be trusted. If you're such a big Catholic, why don't you go bless your icebergs for climate change like your Pope? Again, like I think sometimes the Pope needs to give less, some people are not going to love that I say this, but he needs to give less political messages. Like Nick said this and I agree with it. Just the bread and wine, please. That's all. But yeah, shut the fuck up, dumb bitch. Don't question my Catholic faith, pussy. Don't fucking come at, you're going to hell. How about that? Let's see. Someone said, Spotify can ban Nick Fuentes all they want. We will go to Rumble. The noticing will continue. Fuck Spotify. I do agree that was a bad move by Spotify. It wasn't actually even Nick's account, which was interesting. Is someone just started the account in Nick's name. So I actually, on some level, I do think it's okay that it got shut down because I want the account to be in Nick's, like I want Nick to own the account because he's the one who deserves to make money from it. But I don't agree with the actual censorship of it. Like, I think if Nick was to create an account, they should allow it to stay. And they did say that Nick can, I read the fine print of it all. It was a very weird, long, detailed message when they gave a response, but they did say Nick will be able to get back on Spotify. They just didn't give a very specific time frame. So maybe it's because I'm on Spotify and I'm monetized there, but let's hold off on the Spotify hate for now. But Rumble is based. We like Rumble. We hate that it's owned by JD Vance and them, but we like Rumble. I agree there. Thank you for commenting. Someone said, on behalf of all Muslims, you're doing a great job, young man. I'm more like Jesus than you. Muhammad is your God, not ours. Sincerely, king of all white trash Muslims. Muhammad was your pedophile prophet. Shut the fuck up, you fucking, like, fuck off. Suck my dick. How about that? You're going to hell. You're not a Catholic. You're a Muslim. Your prophet Muhammad that you're saying was my God. No. I have one God, Jesus Christ. Christ is king. And you are, like, Muhammad was your pedophile prophet who married a 6-year-old and fucked her at 9. So shut the fuck up. Let's see. Someone said, I'm tired of voting for Republicans and getting the same shit as Democrats. Yep. At least we know what to expect from Dems. Marjorie Taylor Greene or Massey may be our only decent options for 2028. I just don't think Massey has the motion he needs. And Marjorie Taylor, again, I'll be respectful about, I'd rather watch a man burn this country to the ground than watch a woman take it over as the president. That's me. I just don't think they should be in politics for the most part, or at least in these big political roles. But I do like some of the stuff Marjorie Taylor Greene does. Again, I'm not going to say they couldn't do it. I just don't think, I just don't think Massey has the motion. Like, Massey's not going to be able to beat out Vance, most likely. Maybe, but I don't see it. I think we need to get someone in, like, I don't know. I'd love to see Ye make another run, or Dan Bilzerian. I'd like to see someone make a run. I appreciate your comment, though. Someone said, Yuri's Bizmenov, ex-KGB agent, YouTube. Check it out yet, brother? He explains what happened to our country. Psychological warfare has turned these people's minds into jello. They're no longer able to come to sensible conclusions in interest of defending their country. This is why people say white lives don't matter. I have not checked it out yet. I do kind of know a little bit about what you're talking about. And yeah, I mean, people really think white lives don't matter. That's why... That was pretty much all about what Friday's episode was about. I will check it out, though. You told me to check it out. To be honest, it slipped my mind. I will. Thank you for reminding me. I will check that out. I'll do it tomorrow. I'm going to watch this Nick thing tonight. Let's see. Someone said, I disagree. Tucker finding a way out of answering questions because the guy said Jesus Christ is a complete cop-out. Nothing wrong with reminding people and yourself about Jesus. When you called Kim a cunt, Kim Kardashian a cunt, LOL, you said, God, I shouldn't say that. Yeah, I was speaking to God, you dumbass. There's no difference. Yes, there is. I was directly speaking to God. I was saying, God, I shouldn't say that, like speaking to God. When he says Jesus Christ, it's taking the Lord's name in vain. So, yeah, it's either just you misunderstanding what I was saying or not respecting Catholicism. But yeah, I do think if you're debating with a Catholic and you're in like that short form debate where it's like that guy's not standing there debating him for an hour, he's got a couple questions, and you take the Lord's name in vain in your short period of time that you have there, it's like, okay, it shows that you're fairly unprofessional. And it's also like, you got to realize where you're at. You're at a Turning Point USA environment. You know, most of the people there are Christians. So I disagree there. I think that was okay that Tucker did that. Someone said, we need to pop Israel, freedom from misinformation and the Star-Spangled Lies, LOL, or yo. War criminals need Again, I'm denouncing violence. I think they need to be jailed. I'm not going to go that far. I do think this, if we can prove beyond a reasonable doubt that they killed Charlie Kirk, what's to stop us from going to war with them? You know? Seriously, if we find out for sure, if Candace is right and Ian Carroll's right that Israel killed Charlie Kirk, I would probably endorse a war. I don't know. Probably, though. Most likely. I'm in between on it, but I think it would be the right move. Yeah, I don't love your phrasing there. It just seems like Fed posting, but thank you. Someone said, for the guy I was talking about not being able to receive communion and the Eucharist, I was raised a cradle Catholic, and a large group of kids went to theology classes at our rec center. Taught a lot of when we went through the steps of being part of the Catholic Church. For the Eucharist, we went to a confession, repented for our sins. We would receive the Eucharist and communion, be baptized, confess your sins, repent, and then you may receive the body and blood of Christ. Yeah, the guy who was just saying, like, I didn't get a seat at the table in the Catholic Church, they wouldn't give me communion. It's like, you're a self-entitled little prick. And it's a little far, I'm sorry. That's far. Yeah, but it was very entitled of you. And again, I urge you to just do it in the correct manner. The Catholic Church follows a lot of order. And if you can't respect that order, then it's just not respecting Jesus Christ who died for your sins. That's been all the Spotify comments. Let me check YouTube comments really quick. I'm not sure if we got any. Maybe we got a couple. Let's check, though. No, let me see. No, we didn't get any. We did not get any comments. We got one that said WAU. Thank you. Appreciate that. That's been the entire show for the day. Let me refresh this page one more time, see if we got anything else. See if there was like any replies or something. No, I think that was all. That was all the comments we have. It's been a fun episode of America Unfiltered. Been a long one, almost 2 full hours. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you stayed till the end of the show. If you did, please rate the show 5 stars on Spotify if you enjoy. Remember to like and smash the follow button. Smash the subscribe button. Leave a comment. We'll read the comments we get tonight and tomorrow at the end of tomorrow's show. Hope you guys enjoy, and I will see you guys again tomorrow on Tuesday. Before we go, actually, really quick, remember to go watch Nicholas Fuentes and Tucker Carlson. New interview, new podcast just dropped. I'm going to go literally watch it right now after I upload this. I appreciate you guys tuning in. We're signing off to the day. I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Thank you.